when you come out of the amnesia, when you come out of the memory blocks, in whatever speed is appropriate for you, when you start coming out of the layers of delusion, levels and layers of delusion, that thing that you call ego it's like it's like in the ocean, you have these creatures at the bottom of it, miles down, and if you bring them up to the surface at a certain point, they explode, right? They need that heavy, dense pressure in order to stay intact. Otherwise they explode and they join the rest of the ocean in bits and pieces. And that might not be a great analogy as far as what happens to the ego when the person starts spiritually progressing or advancing or ascending, but it's similar to that in that it has to disintegrate. And it's scientific, it's as scientific as it can be, even though that word is tainted and been fuckered with, of course, like these guys. You know. This timing is amazing sometimes. But the ego thing, just the same as these animals will explode if you bring them up, they'll turn themselves inside out. Explode into bits and pieces is bad, that doesn't happen, but they do like pop. They turn inside out. The same way that if you brought a person down far enough, they'll squish. You know, they'll implode to some degree without, you know, protection, like an aluminum can, just squash. So it's as predictable as the phenomenal plane is, the physical plane. It's pretty predictable. It's not perfect because quantum physics are involved. And it gets wonky when you get it down to the tiniest particle. But generally speaking, from a practical standpoint, if you drop something out of your hand and it has some weight, it's going to fall down. And if it's fragile, when it hits whatever it hits, it's going to break into some pieces. And if somebody hurls themselves off of a 10-story building, they're not going to feel nice when they hit the ground. We've never seen that happen ever. We've never seen somebody hit the ground and bounce up like they were a bouncy ball. We've heard science fiction stories about it, and I'm sure in many of the other possible side realities or realities where it's not so constricted, then people are bouncing all over the place. Not here. Here the physical laws are very consistent and concise and precise, so long as you're not ingesting substances. Then they go crazy, but only for you. And you become nearly 100% subjective instead of the way it is now, which is like 50% objective, 50% subjective. It's some sort of a balance. But with the ego thing, and Og talked about it as well when he was mentioning, he referenced the CD that simply shatters when it starts rotating fast enough. If it gets up above, I don't know, remember what it was, like 70,000 RPMs, then it just shatters. You can't handle it. And he said the same thing about the ego. He said and this is also referenced in the Bible when it's talking about having, weighing somebody's soul against the weight of a feather and whatnot. They're weighing your ego against a feather. They're not weighing the soul. The soul is simply what it is. They're weighing your energetic attachment to things and stuff of the world. So when the CD of your energetic being starts spinning, or if things start accelerating and you have like these, when they balance out your tires, you know, at the tire shop, every once in a while you'll see on your rim, you'll see a little metal things that they stuck on there. So they found a little wobble in the, they found some uneven spots in the weight distribution of your wheel, of your rim. So they slapped on that little offset piece. Now when your wheel spins really fast, then it's not gonna start vibrating. And that wheel, if it's not made perfectly, and of course we're not going super fast with our car tires, but if you sped that thing up and it had the irregularity in the rim, then that thing will start warping and fly apart and bend at some point with fast enough rotation as well. And it's the same thing with the ego. The ego is an artificial thing that was placed within us as an experiment to explore what it feels like to be able to sin and have error and fuck around and do things for no reason, introduce chaos, absurdity, all these things. You know, it's an experiment. It's part of exploring the possibilities of existence itself, but at the same time, we come from a place where these physical things aren't relevant. So when you're transitioning from one realm to the other, the parts of your spirit or soul that are energetically attached to the physicality can be injured. You can be spiritually injured during these processes if you haven't done your work, if you haven't become light. And it's not, you know, something else I was going to say at the beginning was when you become aware of eternity, like when that thing comes and like blasts your mind again, when that thing comes and blows your mind to smithereens again, and it's happened many times, all of these logical thoughts and rational thoughts and this and that, this orderly stuff, it's just gone. It's just as if it was never there in the first place. The vastness of eternity is anything that is focused on the particular or on a particular lifetime or lifeline or anything that is focused on scarcity, lack, lower chakra stuck spots, you know, anything that's focused on that. It's just a glimpse of this eternity, this vastness. There's just literally nothing else to say or do about that particular thing, and it's already immediately seen that within that problem is contained the solution, and it's already all been worked out inside of eternity, which we've been in for eternity. So when you remember the larger, when you remember yourself, when you put all your pieces back together, then these things aren't as complicated, and you're not stressing out over like if you have a zit or something, or if your eyebrows aren't did correctly. Eternity, infinity, forever, all these words are trying to say something. They're trying to point at something. But again, those are conceptions, and still what they're pointing at is beyond, 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 beyond all of the words, which is only available to you through exploration and meditation. Meditation is good. Going to Vegas to play chess. Wish me luck. Bye-bye.